Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to be talking about Season 3, Episode 8 of Dr. Stone. So we start off where we left off, getting some tear gas blasted at people. And then we go to kind of a flashback of Amaryllis, the new woman that we encountered last episode, of her childhood. It looks like a couple of her friends are hanging out. They're on this boat, and they want to go see what's out in the ocean, even though the master says no. And apparently the master is this terrifying person that can petrify people, or has the ability to petrify people, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But this master person, basically anybody that doesn't listen to what this dude says, very dictatorshipy, they turn to stone, is how this is going. So he sends his lackeys, which are apparently two higher ups after them, and the petrification is some sort of weapon that they have to use a rope to gauge the distance, I think, so that way the users also do not get petrified. So this person here winds it up, throws it into the air, and she gets just lucky enough where it doesn't hit her. It turns all of her friends to stone. She rips off of her hair to stop it from spreading. She jumps off the boat, I believe, and it's just ever so slightly out of range. So it's not a big enough one to petrify the entire world. It's more of a localized one, but you're talking probably, I'm guessing, at least 100 feet across, roughly, give or take. I could be wrong with the measurements there. But apparently she's calling it some sort of sorcery. I didn't realize Amaryllis is also a flower, which I'm assuming, is named for. And it took me a minute to figure out how to pronounce her name as well. But she tries being all cutesy again, and is like, oh, you just helped me today, but you're so strong, you're gonna help us. And then Senku's like, yeah, cut the crap. We have common goals. It's fine. We'll go ahead and do it together. Senku also says because it's some sort of science device, there's a range to it, they should be able to defeat it or get it themselves. The main reason, obviously, they should be able to use it to, I don't know if they can use it to unpetrify people as well, or just petrify people, but I know Tsukasa being frozen to death, essentially, or if he gets petrified and then reanimated, he should be good to go. Possibly. Not really sure. But, that's one of the first things I can see being used for. Apparently, the master is going to be going around to villages collecting women for his harem. Of course, because that's just how this piece of crap is. So Amaryllis has worked on herself, made herself super beautiful. Obviously, Senku and Gen are not going to be able to get in there, and Sonzu also not going to be able to get in there. But Kohaku, maybe. We got to dress her up, make her proper ladylike. So Amaryllis grabs a dress. They're like, here you go. Let's go ahead and put on it. And Kohaku is just like, yep, I'm going to strip in front of everybody. I don't care. She's like, oh, these men, I'm sure they don't mind. And Senku was like, yeah, we don't mind, but you're changing, so have a little modesty. You gotta have the proper higher class attitude. Then we get Kohaku all prettied up here in the dress, and they're gonna do her makeup and her hair and all that. And she's like, this isn't very good for fighting. Immediately push the shield on. So she is definitely not the girly girl type of woman. That is definitely clearly, and Gen's trying to help her out. Everybody's trying to help her out with it. But the goal is to get the lab that is in the ship. Unfortunately, it is now currently being guarded. We do see Kohaku getting very angry. At one point, this evil bearded dude, who's really tall, he looks very huge compared to everybody else. Some old, taller, muscular dude knocks over Chrome, breaking him. But as we know, if you glue the pieces back together, you get Usuria back together. She'll be able to go ahead and do that, and they can unpetrify them, so not the biggest deal, but that really ticks off Kohaku. which makes understand. Basically they essentially just killed one of her friends. She then gets into a fight with this girl that we saw from the preview, who has the petrification beam or access to it. Um, but Kohaku doesn't think she'll be able to defeat her, not to mention she's also restricted because of the dress she's wearing. Um, she then shouts out the lab because the people on the island will have no idea what a lab is, being that the master has restricted um, science. So, what Kohaku does is they is they try to trick this woman into thinking that Senku is Lab-kun or Lab-chan, where we get Kohaku pretending to be deeply in love with Senku for a minute here, giving him a big old smooch to trick this woman into thinking that they are lovers. Um, so no big deal there. This woman obviously, is kind of like, oh, people, being intimate with each other. I need to get away from that. I think that's kind of just like a natural instinct. Like you see people like making out or something, you kind of look away. It's just something that people do. So, they live to see another day, at the very least. But then we realize that someone is on the ship, but who is on the ship is of course the most useless person. Well, not useless, but Genro, who he has more of a, I guess, less serious attitude, childlike, if you will. Which I mean that he's probably like 15 or something, so that makes sense. But he was able to just stay out of the reach of the petrification beam because Ukyo shot whatever the heck did it. So it's a solid object that they're chucking in the sky. And because he changed the trajectory, my words are hard, of it, Genro was able to slightly escape. Which is good. He's then very sad because Kenro is, his brother's petrified. And he's trying to say help, and they're like, "No, we need you to get the lab. You need to help us, not the other way around," which I thought was kind of funny. Um, but yeah, he's basically the in a deck of cards, he's like he's like the a four where Tenju would be like a jack, if you will. I think they were doing something funny with cards. This guy then points out the barrel. He's very observant, being that he was like, the barrel has moved a pinky's length. Like, that's like what, like an inch or two max? Like, how the heck do you notice that happening? His eyes are kind of weird. Well, in that instance, I think they're over here they look more normal. But then they hear something crash where they go see the goats and the garden and everything. Where he's talking about all these unusual kinds of things. The master will be both most pleased. And then we learn that there's another person that got saved from the petrification, which we already knew before, which was Suika, where Rusiu knocked her off of the ship because she actually hid the motorboat. That way, these people don't realize that someone made it off the ship onto the island, which is a very smart move. And then, she was hiding amongst the vegetables. So she and Genro are hopefully going to be able to team up and get the lab. And Senku is very happy about that because now they have an ace up their sleeve, the master of disguise, Miss Sherlock Holmes. So hopefully they get off the ship soon. Either that or they're going to bring the master to the ship. Who the heck really knows? But we do know that. Oh, there you go. We actually get to see her face. You don't get to see her cute little face that often. But very smart, intuitive kid. So it is going to be interesting to see what she can do with Genro. I mean, she's going to have to take the lead on this. Ultimately, is what's going to happen is Genro's just going to have to suck it up and be the muscle. And that's where we end it. So next episode, what I think is going to happen is we are going to get the lab. Hopefully, it's called Beautiful Science, so that makes sense that we would get the lab. Genro is just going to have to suck it up. Listen to Suika to get the information to Senku, because if they don't, bad things are going to happen. My guess is they're going to continue to doctor Kohaku up so that way her and Amaryllis both get taken by the master to forcefully be their their wife. Um, and that will get them close enough to hopefully overpower the Master, get the petrification beam, and then they're going to glue everybody back together, get the platinum. It's going to be a process where I don't know if we're going to finish this process in the first half of this season, being that I believe, as I said, I believe we're getting 24 episodes, whereas I believe we're just getting 12. At the moment, and then we're going to, I don't know how long the break's going to be. We'll get another 12 later on. I remember season 1, maybe there was like a week break in between the two cores, so that would be cool. But it's a possibility it might be longer because season 2 was like 11 episodes and that was it. So we'll ultimately just have to see what happens. But solid 8 out of 10, I would say. Very interesting. High stakes, got a little bit of action in there, got a little bit of science in there, which is what it's all about. And kind of really cool just to see how smart Suika is. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next episode. I am definitely looking forward to it. And of course, I'm looking forward to Demon Slayer episode 8 as well. So that's what we're going to be doing this week. Stay tuned, watch my Demon Slayer review, and let me know what you guys see for future anime and cartoon related content. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.